So, we are here to delve into a question whether a peace between India and Pakistan is possible or not. Recently, Dr. Jay Shankar, the current Foreign Minister of India, visited Pakistan to attend SCO summit. Now, even though he has attended the SCO summit in a multilateral forum, and there has been a confirmation from the government of India that they have not had any bilateral meetings, yet a visit to Pakistan by a high-ranking minister is important. So, is India going for a peace initiative with Pakistan? And is peace initiative initiated by India is good for Indian-Pakistan relationship, or is it bad for India-Pakistan relationship? So we need to delve into these questions. For answer to these questions, it is important to look into the history of India-Pakistan relationship. Now, whenever India has initiated a peace initiative, we need to look into the response given by the Pakistani establishment. Now, when I say about Pakistani establishment, I don't refer to a civilian government in Lahore. I refer to Pakistani army and ISI, who are the real entities who are calling the shots in Pakistan. They are the real masters. So, whenever a peace initiative has been taken by India, what has been the response by the Pakistani establishment? That is the army and the ISI. Well, then usually it has been a negative response. You look into the examples such as when Mr. Vajpayee, the former Prime Minister of India, visited Lahore and signed Lahore Declaration with Nawaz Sharif, we got in return Kargil War by General Pervez Musharraf, initiated by General Pervez Musharraf. When Mr. Modi, who is the current Prime Minister, he visited again a family function, to attend a family function of Nawaz Sharif, we got a terrorist attack in Pathankot in return. There are several other instances whenever there has been an India-Pakistan talk, and whenever the India-Pakistan talk is in finalization stage or when it is constructive, we get a response from terrorist organizations who are just proxies of ISI and Pakistani army of a terrorist attack, a negative response we get. So why it is happening? Why every time India does something good for India-Pakistan relationship and it gets backstabbed by Pakistan establishment? Now for this, we need to look into the status of Pakistani army in Pakistan. Well, the point number one is that the Pakistani army and ISI, they are the real masters of Pakistan. There is no doubt about it. The civilian government, which is there in Lahore, they are basically the spokespersons of the army. They do not have any independent status as such. They do not have the power. The power lies in the hands of the army and the ISI. Whenever there is a power struggle between civilian government and the Pakistani army, we know who have won in the history of Pakistan. It is always the Pakistani army. So there is no doubt that the Pakistani army is the real master of Pakistan. The point number two is, how does the Pakistani army justify its existence? And how does the Pakistani army justify its huge irrational budgetary allocation, which is very irrational in the world? Now, while the generals of Pakistani army, they enjoy lavish life of going to clubs, having huge houses, having huge net worth, the Pakistani public in the behind are struggling to get a basic roti for every day. So they have a huge expenditures, Pakistani army, And these expenditures get justified only because in the name of India, in the name of fictional enemy which is India. They have created a fictional threat that India is an existential threat of Pakistan, which is not the case, because India, in its history of 75 years, we have never even claimed even a territory, inch of a territory of Pakistan. We have never made any aggressive postures against Pakistan. It is, in fact, opposite is true. In order to justify their expenses, their huge expenses of our Pakistani army, they need an enemy, and the easiest enemy is neighbor, which is India. And that is why they want India to remain as their permanent enemy, so that the existence of Pakistani army is permanent. And always the expenses are justified. So this is the reason why every time India-Pakistan talk becomes constructive, it fails because there is a negative response coming from a Pakistani army. So now Mr. Nawaz Sharif have proposed India-Pakistani cricketing ties. So what will happen to that? If India agrees for an India-Pakistani ties, we were going to have a match and all, but after that we're going to get one response from a Pakistani army in the form of terrorist attack to derail every confidence building measure. So what is to be done between India and Pakistani relationship? What is the way forward? The way forward, the first way forward is that we do not do anything. We freeze our relationship with Pakistan completely, just like we did for the last 4-5 years. And if you look into last 4-5 years, there has never been that peaceful time in India-Pakistan history, because virtually India freezed all its relationship with Pakistan. That feeds to the narrative of Pakistani army, and the Pakistani army doesn't have to give any a response in terms of terrorist attack or anything, or attack on military installations. So when India decided to freeze its relationship with Pakistan, there has been last 4-5 years, there has been peace in Jammu and Kashmir. There has been no major terrorist attacks, and that has been a good time for India-Pakistan relationship. When there is no relationship, I believe that is the best time for India-Pakistan relationship. So in the short term, India should not engage with Pakistan, and it should not try to engage with civilian government, because anyway it is useless to engage with civilian government, because they are merely the spokesperson of Pakistani army. So what to be done in a long term? To achieve long-term objective of peace, India must directly engage with Rawalpindi, that is the Pakistani army. There should be an army-to-army consultation, and how these disputes are solved or between the army, that must be left between them. But the government of India should not engage with civilian government. It should directly engage with the army, and maybe take a help of our ally such as United States, who has in its history a good relationship with Pakistani army. So maybe in the long term we will be able to convince Pakistani public, Pakistani society, and eventually Pakistani army that the peace between India and Pakistan is the only alternative in which is good for prosperity of Pakistan, and which is in the interest of Pakistan. And if Pakistan realizes in the long term, then we can have a good relationship with Pakistan. However, in the short term, as I have stated, till then we need to freeze our relationship. We don't need any confidence building measures, because if we do any confidence building measures right now, we're going to get a negative response from a Pakistani establishment. So we need to continue the policy of non-engagement with Pakistan. That is the best peaceful alternative for short term today. Thank you very much.